How's it going?
Oh, hey, Alex. It's going all right, I guess. To be honest, I've been feeling kind of far from God lately. I just don't feel like God is listening to me or hearing any of my prayers. So I've been trying to read the Bible to try to connect with God a little bit more, but it's really hard.
That does sound hard. I'm sorry you've been feeling that way. I can kind of relate. Like, sometimes I feel a little lost, and like I'm having a hard time getting back to a close relationship with God.
It's funny that you use the word lost. It kind of reminds me of the sheep from the story that I was telling you about. I wonder how it would feel to be a lost little sheep far away from the person that takes care of them.
Oh, that poor sheep. If I were that sheep, I would feel alone and afraid, and I would just want to get back to that person who makes me feel the most safe.
You know, in the story, it says that when the little sheep got lost, the shepherd went looking for it everywhere, even leaving behind the other 99 sheep in their pen. And he looked and looked and looked, and then, when he did find the sheep, he celebrated.
Oh, I wonder if that's how God feels about us when we feel lost or far away from God. Maybe that's why Jesus told the story, to teach us that God loves us so much, just like the shepherd loved the sheep, even when we're feeling lost or far away from God.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I guess you could also say God is like a parent who loves their children so much. If one of those kids were to go missing, of course that parent would drop everything to look and look until they found them.
You're a parent, aren't you?
Yep, I have 3 little girls.
Okay. Was there ever a time when one of them got lost or you couldn't find them?
Actually, there was a time pretty recently where I couldn't find one of my kids and I was pretty scared. We just recently moved to a new house and there's a little bit more room to lose things. And we were hanging out in our house, working and playing and doing our own things. And at one point I took a head count and I could see my oldest daughter and I could see my youngest daughter, but I couldn't see my middle daughter, Birdie. So I started looking for her in the usual places. I yelled upstairs and I yelled outside and I knocked on all the bathroom doors. No answer. So I started looking in some more unusual places. I went down into the basement. I went out into the garage. I was calling her name. I went up into her room. I went into my room. Still couldn't find her. She wasn't answering. She wasn't coming out, and I was starting to get a little worried. So then I started looking in some weird places. I looked under the deck. I went out onto my street and was yelling up the sidewalk. I looked in the pantry. I started looking in everyone's closets. And wouldn't you know it, she was in her closet. Now, that closet, when you're in it, you can't hear anything. And there's some toys in there, and she was just playing quietly, and she couldn't hear me yelling for her. And I was so relieved to have found her. It made me think, if this is how I feel when my little girl has been lost for just like 5 minutes, how much more must God feel that about us when we're feeling lost?
That does make me feel a little bit better, that even when I feel far away from God, God still loves and cares about me and isn't that far away after all. Maybe God is really looking for me and waiting for me and really does want to have a close friendship with me too.
And even if we don't feel like God is close, we can still be doing things to grow our friendship with God, like talking to God through prayer and learning about Jesus and stories and loving people just like Jesus did.
I guess I don't always have to feel that God is near me to know that God is always there and that God still loves and cares about me like a shepherd or a parent.
That's so cool that these stories helped you feel a little closer to God. Maybe that's God's way of teaching you and reaching out to you when you're feeling a little lost.
I love that. Thank you so much for talking about it with me. I guess God does speak through other people too sometimes.
Yeah, and we can talk anytime. I'll be praying for you too.